welcome to Bishop's Court as we bring you highlights of the 1995 Sunflower International meeting. Now, for Ireland's top short circuit event of the year, the weather conditions are quite atrocious, but the lineup of top names is first class. There's Steve Hislop, this year's British Superbike champion, who's making his debut here on the Ducati. On a Honda this year is Jim Moody, who won the Sunflower race 12 months ago on a Yamaha. Moody's Honda teammate is Michael Rutter. Son of Tony Rutter, he was third in last year's Sunflower race. And Alan Irwin will carry local hopes in the Superbike races. Riding a Ducati, he won the Sunflower race twice in the early days. The Superbikes later, but we start with the first junior race of the day for 250 machines. Englishman Ian Newton qualified in pole position, but with his Aprilia giving problems, he had to withdraw just before the start. A jump start by Simon Turner on the Queen's University Yamaha landed him a 1-minute time penalty. So local hopes lay with Alan Patterson. On commentary, it's Barry Nutley.
Restart then of the 250 race, first race over the full 12-lap distance. And away they go again. This time Simon Turner has a less exuberant start. It's number 11, Robin Milton, hitting the front. Moving through on the inside again is Gerald Sterling, number 25, but Milton on the Robin Appleyard Honda. Number 11, Robin Milton, it is leading on the first lap at the hairpin. Now watch them all around here. The temptation is to get the power on a bit too early. But Milton away. A super start, sweeping past on the inside though. That looked as though that was the number 47. There's Simon Turner, number 27. And 47 running with him. That's Alan Patterson, a local man, 47. Alan Patterson tucking into second place. Milton now down in third, number 11. Patterson then, a late entry. He was in fact an addition to the program, is chasing Simon Turner on the Queen's University Belfast Yamaha. Turner leads, Patterson second, Robin Milton third. Then number 15 in fourth place, Maurice Ruddock, another local man on the Bill Smith machine. Here they come. Onto the start-finish straight, down the Lismore straight then. Turner from Patterson, number 47, third place. It's number 15. Fourth, it's number 33. Fifth, it's number 11, Robin Milton. Exiting the hairpin, up towards the left-hander, flicking it through Deegan's. Right and left, and Patterson going in, number 47. Patterson going the long way round. Take it easy, Alan. It's very tricky out there, but he's now pressurizing Simon Turner. So the young man has conceded the lead. Patterson leads. Skipping the knee over the curb as they go through fairways up towards the right-hander of Rigawadi. Another little flick left, and then they are back on the sharp right-hander at Dunsfort with the start-finish straight in sight. At Dunsfort now then with Alan Patterson. He will be, oh no, one more bend to go. A lot of lefts and rights through there. Now Patterson with Turner, tail end ahead of them. And right with them has gone 15, Maurice Ruddock. So Ruddock about to move up into second place. Now they're coming onto the start-finish straight. The tail ender has been relegated by all three. Patterson it is. Fourth place, number 33, goes over the line, Michael Wilson. Fifth place goes Robin Milton. And down in sixth place, it's number 25. And that is Gerald Sterling. And Gerald Sterling, look at Ruddock on the inside of Simon Turner. Maurice Ruddock then grabs second place. So Turner now is slipping backwards. Add to that the minute, and he's in deep, deep trouble. Patterson with Ruddock right with him. The Bill Smith Yamaha under Ruddock, number 15. Maurice Ruddock now is closing dramatically. The gap is now visible. It was something like 15 machine lengths, but now Ruddock is there. He's really in the hunt. He can see, but oh, and another twitch from Patterson, who almost threw his bike into the grass again. Now there's a tail ender. Watch this, the tail ender, number 2. That's Jerry Brennan, the number 2 rider ahead of them. He's going to get in the way of Patterson. And is Patterson going to go the long way round? Oh, Ruddock goes outside. Patterson goes inside. It was anybody's race, and they are throwing caution to the wind here at Bishop's Court. Alan Patterson, sensational riding. He had absolutely no choice but to take the decision he took, and that was to go for it. So they are neck and line astern, and there's all Simon Turner has got caught up with the tail ender. So number 27, the early race leader, Turner, has come from nowhere again. He's got second wind. Patterson still takes the lead, but only just. Simon Turner now is re-challenging for that second spot. They're at Brox. Island of Gore, the right-hander at Island of Gore, then the left-hander of Larchwood. Through Larchwood they go down towards the hairpin. And diving through to take the lead, Maurice Ruddock on the inside. Now this time he could well push Alan Patterson wide. Patterson cutting back, Ruddock almost threw it away. These three, a tremendous race this is now. Ruddock and Simon Turner absolutely side by side. Simon Turner knows that he's got to do something very special. I don't know what happened to him. He must have lost concentration halfway through the race. But now he is back here, really going like a man possessed. The early race leader then, number 27, Turner, is back in second and has every intention of retaking the lead. Alan Patterson, look out. Just watch Turner, number 27, Simon Turner, as they round the top corner at Dunsfort onto the start-finish straight. Which of these bikes is going to be quickest down the straight? They have to follow line astern before the left-hander of Brox Bend, but still it's Patterson, 47, leading. Turner right in the spray. The riders at the back of this course are getting a great deal of filth and water and gravel and all unknown rubbish being thrown onto their visors, and not an easy time at all. They will be wearing rip-offs that they can tear off through. On the inside goes Simon Turner. Patterson again will try and push wide. There's a very loose bit on the outside, and through goes Patterson again. Right there waiting as well was 15, Maurice Ruddock, because he could quite easily have inherited the lead again at that point. Alan Patterson having the race of his life, and it's a long time since I've seen Patterson ride this well. Very cheerful, very jovial. Look at the tail enders, 18 and 38 ahead of Patterson. Now what's he going to do? Dives through. Oh, the rider didn't quite know he was there, but Alan Patterson has now thrown Simon Turner a tail ender. And we are looking for Maurice Ruddock. Can't see Maurice Ruddock, number 15. I think Ruddock might well have gone. Fantastic over the line, a clenched fist for Alan Patterson. It all happened on the last lap, and he had to fight, but Patterson, number 47, the winner. Well, this is the unfortunate incident which befell the number 15, Maurice Ruddock. The tail ender scooped him up, and his race ended on the tarmac with a few hundred yards to go.
So, Alan Patterson taking the first junior race of the day and making the adjustment for Turner's 1-minute penalty. Robin Milton is promoted to second place, with Jason Vincent moving up to third. Alan, what about that? Quite a race.
Yeah, very enjoyable, although it's a bit slippy, conditions were difficult, but very enjoyable.
Was it easier, the fact that Ian Newton, the pole position man, wasn't on the grid?
Well, that depends. Aprilia seems to be a difficult bike to ride in the wet, so maybe that's why Ian didn't arrive on the grid. I don't know, it might have been different, but I think quite confident it would have been the same result.
On to the first Superbike race of the day, with no shortage of big names on the front row of the grid. Fastest in practice and in pole position, it's Steve Hislop. And on the Ducati, he must fancy his chances.
Well, yeah, but things have changed a little bit now, but I'd hope for the best. Go for it.
The first senior race, 12 laps, over 21 miles, and 22 riders go in very damp conditions, and it wasn't such a good start for Hislop. Number 21, Jim Moody. Jim Moody on the Honda, last year's winner. Hits the front from the word go, but Alan Irwin, number 2, has gone with him. So the local man, Irwin, now hits the front on the Ducati. Alan Irwin, the Bishop's Court specialist, in wet conditions has taken advantage of the very, very wet, sodden and tricky conditions which prevail on the circuit, and has taken the lead. Irwin, then number 2, leads. Almost in a class of his own, I have to say, but he has to keep it up for the whole race distance, obviously. Steve Hislop, 11 times TT winner in the distinctive fluorescent red helmet, is in second place and will be getting used to the conditions, and I predict that Hislop will gradually turn the wick up. Here comes the race leader then, Alan Irwin. Hislop taking the tight line out of Dunsford onto the straight. And Michael Rutter on the Team Great Britain Castrol Honda down there in fourth and just being dropped away, but we're going to stay with Irwin. All he needs to do is maintain the speed, gently round, going very, very carefully, and my goodness me, he has to go carefully. Look at this battle now for second place, a wheelie from Hislop, put the power on the Ducati. Rutter's closing. Michael Rutter, number 16, very good on the brakes. Look at Rutter going for third place and taking it. Michael Rutter, number 16, sliding through on the inside of the new British champion. So the precocious Michael Rutter with a tail ender, number 35, ahead of him, now in third place. Alan Irwin on the Ducati is riding the machine that, or the type of machine that Michael Rutter would have been riding, and that was a little bit too much too soon. That was a question of opening the throttle and just feeding in too much power. The back wheel broke traction and almost resulted in what we call a high side situation, and that's when the bike bites and spits the rider off over the top. I wish I'd put money on this, because I felt that as Hislop goes up into third past Matt Llewellyn, so the battle of the Ducatis for third and fourth is being resolved in favour of Matt Llewellyn. Michael Rutter's, though, tenacity, his experience and his youthful exuberance is beginning to wear down Alan Irwin, who might just be getting tired. He might just be having tyre troubles with the Ducati, I don't know. But certainly Rutter is closing dramatically and is going for the race win. Any aspiration that Jim Moody might have had to make it 2 Sunflower Trophies in a row, as his teammate Michael Rutter takes the lead, have evaporated, because Jim Moody now not in the leading bunch, and Michael Rutter, as he lost his top tape there just momentarily, is now in command of the situation. But nonetheless, a good ride by Alan Irwin in what has to be very difficult conditions. The Scot, the now resident Isle of Man Scot, Steve Hislop, 11 times the TT winner, fastest man round the Isle of Man, is in third and is closing now on the back of Alan Irwin, and ahead of him lies potentially the race win. What we've seen, of course, is Steve Hislop feel his way round, get the measure of a damp circuit. He wasn't going to go out from the word go in unknown conditions. It is his first visit to Bishop's Court, so not only has he had to learn the circuit, he's had to cope with vastly changing track conditions for the race from those which he set pole position time in practice. So he used the first half of the race to learn the circuit, find out how much he could get away with, find out what the Ducati was capable of in the wet round here, and now, having moved the benchmarks to those which he considers to be at a safe level, he is now going for second place and takes it through on the inside of Alan Irwin. Then up into second goes Steve Hislop. The race leader still number 16, Michael Rutter, and we are going to be treated, I think, to a battle royal for the race win between the pole position man Hislop and Michael Rutter, number 16. Honda plays Yamaha going into the closing stages of the race. You have my word. Irwin now in third, but looking like a rostrum finish. The pit crew leaning over the wall will be giving Michael Rutter the sign as he gets a tail ender ahead of him. That's Marty Delaney from Era. So the Southern Irishman is in fact really getting in the way now of Mike Rutter, and that's allowed Hislop to close right on the back wheel of the Honda man. And is Hislop going to go the long way around the tail end, or is he going to grab the opportunity and go slip through the inside? Look at him side by side with Rutter and Martin Delaney. Such trust. Hislop it is, emerges from that in the lead, or does he? The last lap flag out then. Second place Rutter, third place Alan Irwin, and race leader Steve Hislop then, with 1.75 miles now to do of the Bishop's Court circuit. And we'll watch the stylish Hislop at work, throwing it through the left, Larchwood down towards the hairpin. This the hairpin that caused so much problem for the riders in wet practice. Exiting the hairpin then, Hislop puts the power on and the next bend will be the little right-handed flick of Deegan's. Into Deegan's right, another tail ender ahead, up into fourth gear up through here, into fairways, a left, another right at fairways, still in fourth gear, up towards the right-hander of Ringawaddy, all the way around Ringawaddy with a little left flick on the exit. There it goes. This is second gear now through here. The right-hander then onto the start-finish. Round goes Hislop with the checkered flag in sight. Right with him goes Michael Rutter. The checkered flag out. Hislop gets the win. Rutter in second, and a brilliant third for the local man, Alan Irwin. But the Scot, Steve Hislop, pole position man, takes his first senior race.
Steve Hislop taking the honours then, and he had the fastest lap of 88.846 miles per hour. Michael Rutter second, and in the end, Alan Irwin had to settle for a very commendable third place.
Steve, well done, but you seem to take your time there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you hadn't had any practice in a way. I had no idea what the conditions were like or grippiness with this track. I got a reasonable start, hung in there, and I could see Alan getting away, and then Michael and Matt both came past me. I was really struggling with vision. I was steaming up on my visor, so I had to try and open it a little bit, and eventually I got the feel for the circuit, and I just put the pressure on near the end.
I thought at one stage I was really going to maybe win one of these big ones. Probably my own fault. What I'd done early on in the race, I was pushing on. I was driving hard when I was leaned over, and I burnt the side of the tyre off. That's just what you see it there at the back, which I should have been lifting and driving more, you know, instead of on the edge of the tyre and just constantly turning it.
Moving on to the 600 Super Sport race, local hope centred on Philip McCallan, who had pole position, and Alan Irwin, third fastest in practice, also expected to go well. We join it on lap 5, and Englishman Mike Edwards on a Honda had led from the start.
Phil McCallan, number 40, in second place, just winding in ever so slightly the fellow Honda rider, Mike Edwards. Third place, the number 6 Kawasaki of Richard Britton. And Alan Irwin is there too. Look at Alan Irwin. Irwin now up to 5th, number 2. So from a dreadful start, Alan Irwin is closing. In 4th place, number 39, and that's Nigel Robinson. So these are all local men. They are all familiar with Bishop's Court. Irwin is making a bid for 4th place, and my money says that Alan Irwin, number 2, will move past the number 39 rider and go for 4th place. He then has a job of work to do on the number 6 Kawasaki of Richard Britton. Through fairways on the back of the circuit, Edwards, McCallan is closing through with it. Oh, the back end's gone. McCallan is down into the gravel. Phil McCallan has thrown it away. That's one second-hand motorbike. McCallan rolling in the gravel. Let's hope the rider's okay, because he's got a big event next weekend. That is McCallan's race bike for next weekend in Catalonia that he has thrown away into the gravel. But is Phil McCallan okay, and will he be okay for Catalonia next weekend? There is Phil McCallan on the long walk back to the pits. So the rider fit and well. Fortunately, the bike, I have to say, less so. Race leader now by a clear mile, Mike Edwards.
Confirmation of the result, Edwards led from start to finish and had 17 seconds to spare over the Kawasaki's of Alan Irwin and Richard Britton. But after promising so much, how did Philip McCallan come to grief?
I think I clipped just the apex of the corner of the curb going into the turn, and it started the front wheel to slide, and there was no saving it after that.
And I think you're badly bruised.
Yeah, well, sort of legs, arms and shoulders, but nothing to worry about.
What about the bike?
Well, we're in a bit of trouble there, because on Friday, my number 2 engine blew up here just when I clinched pole position, so we used my number 1 bike, and unfortunately I crashed it today, so we've got a lot of building and doing and engines to sort out before tomorrow.
Yeah, you're due in Spain on Wednesday for a Thunderbike round, aren't you?
Yeah, we're supposed to leave tonight and start travelling, but we'll have to head back to workshop now and, as I say, strip 2 engines, build 1 between them, get a chassis together and head for there.
Next up, it's the first 125 race of the day, with the small bikes always guaranteeing plenty of close, exciting racing. But from the start, Philemons had built up a commanding lead. We join it on lap 3.
Look at number 22, though, Adrian Coates. Team Ironside bike ridden by Coates in third place. And he is now under a little bit of pressure again from the number 8, who has got past Owen McNally. So Stephen Thompson, it's Mick Lofthouse. It's Mick Lofthouse on a Yamaha. So these Yamahas really coming good. The Honda number 6 in second place. Yamaha, Adrian Coates in third. Yamaha, Mick Lofthouse number 9 in fourth, and he is shadowing Adrian Coates. Lofthouse with a wealth of experience. Third in the Ulster Grand Prix 125cc race. However, at Donington Park last weekend, Lofthouse crashed and spent most of the morning with his hand in an ice pack, and then later on rode in the race. Obviously fully recovered from that. Falls though, number 6 in second place. Jim Falls, electronics engineer from Belfast, number 6 Falls. But look at Mick Lofthouse, number 9, squeezing through into third place. Adrian Coates, no, just grabs it back again. 23-year-old electrician, not going to have any of it. So the Antrim-based Coates is going for second on the inside of Jim Falls. They are touch and go, but Coates takes it. Eric Lyons will be absolutely wild with enthusiasm because his boy is now in second place, and ahead of him he has a clear track, and it's Phelim Owens, the race leader. Coates from Antrim in third place, number 9 from Accrington, Mick Lofthouse. Then number 7, that looks as though that might be Jim Falls. It is indeed, that's Jim Falls. So Jim Falls is down. The Honda of Jim Falls went off. Falls, though, walking away, obviously a bit disconsolate, but nevertheless the machine and Falls both relatively undamaged. Ahead of Adrian Coates there is a tail ender, and it'll be interesting to see how he handles him. He handles him very well indeed, but the tail ender pitches his bike into the path of Mick Lofthouse, making Lofthouse go wide round the outside. Coates stole a bit of a march there and managed to increase his lead marginally. Phelim Owens, though, is streets ahead of the rest of the opposition. There's the race leader, Phelim Owens, the 30-year-old from Dungannon, pole position man, looking as confident and as fast as I've seen him in many a year. Owens, of course, qualified as a wildcard ride for the British Motorcycle Grand Prix this year at Donington Park, but regrettably was unable to take up that ride due to an injury. So maybe 1996 will be Owens' year for Grand Prix honours. Through on the inside of Brock's Bend goes Mick Lofthouse up into second, and fighting back though as they go to Island of Gore. The right-hander of Island of Gore, Adrian Coates, has by no means given up. So this one going to go all the way round. They are on their last lap. They've got 1.5 miles to do. Adrian Coates goes into the right-hander at the hairpin on the brakes. They're exiting the hairpin. Has he run wide? Mick Lofthouse has got it all to do again. Sprinting away, the right-hander of Deegan's will be next. And this is a flat-out fourth gear, 100-mile-an-hour complex all the way through here on these 125s. The right-hander again into the second lot of bends at fairways. Another right flick, another left flick, and then a steep right-hander of Ringawadi is on the inside. Goes Mick Lofthouse, but no. Exiting Ringawadi, a little left flick again, but is Lofthouse leaving it too late? Is there anything to do? The next right-hander will be Dunsford, as onto the start-finish straight they come. Lofthouse is having to go the long way round, and Adrian Coates has done it. The checkered flag is in sight. Adrian Coates and Mick Lofthouse, a terrific second and third, but the race winner, a superb display of riding in the 125s by Phelim Owens.
So Phelim Owens coming in ahead of Adrian Coates and Englishman Mick Lofthouse. It was a start-to-finish win for Owens, an easy win despite a very strong lineup.
It was. I thought Jim and Robin Appleyard have been really pushing hard, because I've been on the 250 for the first time, and I found it difficult to get back onto the 125, and the two warm-up laps, so it's finding the 125 a wee bit difficult.
Winning 2 years in a row, that's nice.
That's nice. I missed this first race last year, but I've got it this time.
Phelim got a real good start and got away when everybody was holding each other up, and then when I got through the second, I just couldn't make any ground on him, but it was good.
There's some great racing there with Mick Lofthouse.
Yeah, it was close. It's very scary in the wet. You don't know how when the bike's going to let go, but it was good.
And so we come to the feature race of the day, the Sunflower International. Last year, Jim Moody won it on Yamaha. Can he do it this time on the Honda? Or will it be the other flying Scot, Steve Hislop, on the Ducati? Let's find out. Here's Barry again.
In the middle of the front row, last year's Sunflower winner, Jim Moody, the Glaswegian. Can he make it 2 in a row? This year, of course, he's on Honda. Alongside him, probably having his best season so far, Matt Llewellyn, and the pole position man on the Ducati, Steve Hislop, who was unbelievably quick round here in dry qualifying yesterday. But as you can see, conditions very, very different. This race will be run over 12 laps, 21.72 miles. And the front row very much unchanged, I think, from senior qualifying. Ray Stringer, Hislop's teammate with the green helmet there, riding number 17. And local man Alan Irwin, number 2, nearest the camera. There's Irwin on a nice, shiny, brand new Ducati. Rode it very well earlier on today. Can Irwin win the Sunflower? He's won it before, but of course in recent years the competition over here has been extremely hot. Watch the lights, away they go, and a cracking start. Oh, from the middle of the front row, Moody had a good flyer. And, oh dear me, I think Michael Rutter got away well too. Hislop not very good at all. And it's looking as though Moody's there. Moody there, and did Michael Rutter go with him? Yes, I believe he did. It's the Honda pairing then. Moody lead, Rutter in second. Alan Irwin, number 2, is hanging in there on the first of the Ducatis. Mike Rutter, number 16, he's a master in the wets, and I just said earlier that had he been on his Ducati, it might have been a different story, because the Honda, not the best handling piece of kit in the world. Rutter leads then, number 16, so Michael Rutter, the 23-year-old from Starbridge, right with him, Alan Irwin, then it's Jim Moody. We are looking for Steve Hislop, and I suspect that with 12 laps, Steve Hislop will take a very, very steady time. He'll get himself fired up. There is no sign of Hislop in the leading bunch, though. In the early stages, Alan Irwin, number 2, shadowing Michael Rutter, racing number 16, who stepped onto the Honda for this weekend just to keep his hand in. Hislop then down in 5th or 6th place, and I'll confirm that with you. There's Stringer. The rest of the bunch threading their way through. Some of the fastest 250cc riders are here as well in the big Sunflower. Alan Irwin going around the outside of Michael Rutter, splashing his way through the puddles. Irwin then with the yellow helmet, the number 2 Ducati, leads now by 3 or 4 machine lengths. The next left-hander, as he goes into the left-hander of Larchwood, down towards the hairpin. This is bumpy, it's rough, not the best surface in the world. Be easy when you put the power on, feed it in on the Ducati. Rutter's there, then it's Moody, then it's Llewellyn. Number 30 coming through as well, Rodney McCurdy, another local man. So another Northern Irish man just ahead of Steve Hislop, the newly crowned British champion. Talking of British champions, household names, Halewood, Sheen, another one, Haslam, Ron Haslam standing next to me. Ron, you've not ridden here, but these conditions have got to be difficult, eh?
Yeah, they're really difficult. I think the biggest problem is the surface has got a really lot of grip for the wet conditions, and the English lads aren't quite used to it yet, so I can see the pace even getting off towards the end.
Well, in the earlier senior race, we saw Hislop feel his way round. He got better and better. He got quicker and quicker, and he backed up what you said by the tyre. He was using it maybe gently and gently. He felt what the track could do, and then he could get quicker as the race went on.
Yeah, it's, as I say, they all sort of still feeling the way around here. It's a quite bumpy circuit, but I think they all know the way now, so really look forward to a good race.
I suppose Alan Irwin out there in front, he's a Bishop's Court specialist, he does a lot of practicing here. That's the reason why he's going so well.
Yeah, I think when they watch him and see where he goes, I think they'll just copy it and hopefully get back in touch with him.
Well, thanks, Ron. We'll pick you up in the closing stages, but right now we're with Alan Irwin, race leader. He is going like a train, knee on the tarmac. He really is looking good. Michael Rutter, number 16, is still with him. So the Honda pairing of Rutter and Moody giving the crowd, and there's a good crowd here despite the weather, something to shout about. Here they come. Hislop now up to 4th. I saw a flash of fluorescent pink crash helmet there. There's Steve Hislop, number 1. McCurdy, number 30, down in 5th, and Matt Llewellyn just hanging on to the tail end of that bunch. There goes Llewellyn, Mr. Consistent Matt Llewellyn. But if Alan Irwin can break the toe, can get away, I think he has a real chance of winning this race. And to my mind, Ron, the threat has got to be Steve Hislop.
Yeah, it's got to be. As I say, I think he'll get faster and faster as the race goes on. So as long as he don't break too big a lead, I think it'll be a really, really good end result with it.
Hislop then in 4th place currently, ahead of him, the 2 factory Hondas. Jim Moody, oh dear me, Alan Irwin has gone. He's handed the race lead to Michael Rutter. Oh, what a shame for Alan Irwin. So he will be kicking himself. Good to see the rider up on his feet. What a shame. I have just no idea what happened. If we can get a rerun of that, maybe Ron will have a better idea, but it looks to me as though the front went away. It seems that way.
Yeah, it looked a little bit wide when on the bit, what we're seeing. It looked like it was slightly a little bit wide on the, a bit more slippier ground out there. Yes, he was definitely wide out there, and he was trying to pull it back, and obvious the tyres couldn't take it.
Now, Hislop, the Ducati sandwich, filling in the Honda sandwich. You can see Rutter, and I knew Rutter would go well in the wet. He's very, very good in the wet, and he now has the newly crowned British champion, 11 times TT winner, Steve Hislop, from Hawick, now resident at Onchan in the Isle of Man, ahead of Jim Moody in 3rd. That means that McCurdy, the number 30, Rodney McCurdy, on the Kawasaki, has been elevated to 4th place. Hislop then going for the win, feeling his way, and takes it, takes the lead. Steve Hislop then with his nose in front. Honda's now 2nd, Michael Rutter. Honda 3rd, Jim Moody. That was a great overtaking move, Ron. I don't think there's going to be any catching him.
No, he's come from further behind to take the lead. I think he's going to start extending that lead now. It's really confident about it, and I think you can just see him, he might extend it from here.
Hislop now has pulled away just a bit more from Michael Rutter, and I think that little twitch from Michael Rutter stretched him, Ron. Maybe he was pushing the Honda just on the ragged edge.
He's setting a really good pace, but I think he's aiming to push it right to the edge to keep with it.
I guess in these sort of conditions with the wet circuit, that the power of the Ducati is more manageable, it's easier to ride. I would think the Honda's quite a handful.
It is a little bit, but it's in 2nd place at this point. It's a lot easier to take a marker off him and try and pull it up to him. So Hislop's got it all to do at the front, got to set his own pace.
Well, the number 23 there, Stephen Ferguson, or was it 22, Wolsey Coulter? I'm not sure. Then it's Wolsey Coulter they've just gone past, according to the programme, so that's on the Turtles Yamaha 250. Hislop then battling his way down the straight in the spray in foul conditions. They really are very, very bad conditions. So into lap 10, so we have 2 laps remaining after this, and a jubilant Steve Hislop if he holds it all together, but the battle is not over for 2nd, because Jim Moody is now fighting back at the precocious Michael Rutter on the bike for one weekend, and what a display he's given Mike Rutter. Moody, though, fighting back, going for 2nd. Can he pull it off? Well, Moody's got the experience, Rutter's got the enthusiasm. Which way is it going to go, Ron?
I think Jim's going to try it, even though that they're running under similar colours. But Jim's had a lot of experience on the Honda compared to Michael.
Well, it's looking that way too. He's right there, just shadowing him, right for right, left for left, as they go through the complex on the back of the circuit, then up to the left-hander, flicking through after Ringawaddy before they come on to Dunsfort, which is the bend at the top end of the start-finish straight, and sprinting down the line. It's still Michael Rutter, just with his head in front. Moody, though, oh, Moody whizzes through, beautifully taken on the left-hander into Brock. So Jim Moody moves up to 2nd place. And that was a classic overtaking move. Whether Rutter went wide or he slowed, I don't know. Did Moody just do it on the brakes?
I think it's, as you say, when you're behind, you just look at the other pace and sort of match it and get a little bit quicker. I think now Michael should actually stick with him and try and come back at him again.
Well, we've seen hard-charging Michael Rutter before, and I've every reason to believe that he's going to do as Ron Haslam predicted. He won't settle for third. If there's anything he can do about it, he'll go for it, and that means putting Jim Moody, number 21, under maybe just a little bit too much pressure. However, Hislop then, the next time round, will collect the yellow and black flag, which means there is 1.81 miles of the Bishop's Court circuit remaining for him. He's not really concerned with what's happening behind, provided they don't pass him. The tail enders now still very much in the way. The last lap flag is out. Hislop is on his way. Ron, a last word from you. What a display.
Oh, fantastic. I think, as they say now, they know it's the last lap, and I think they're starting to settle into a good position now. So, yeah, they've all seemed to be broke between each other. So it's really a brilliant race.
First time here, too, for Steve Hislop. He's got to be pleased, hasn't he?
Oh, it's got to be over the moon with that. It's riding so well now. As I say, wet conditions, dry conditions, it doesn't matter. It's just riding so well.
Riding well he is. He's on a charge now, unless some misfortune befalls him. Steve Hislop is going to come home and lift his first Sunflower after what, it's fair to say, was a fairly short, sharp dash. By Superbike standards, it has not been a long race, but conditions taken into account, it has certainly been a good, thrilling and a relatively safe race, if you can call motorcycle racing safe. Steve Hislop then, number 1 on the plate, reflecting he is the true champion. He rounds the right-hander at Dunsfort for the last time. The finish line, the checkered flag in sight. Will we see a wheelie from Hislop? No, but never mind. He takes the flag over the line. Goes Moody, and Rutter gets third. Moody congratulates Hislop, a worthy winner.
The big one, the Sunflower International, goes to Steve Hislop, bringing the Ducati home in front of the Honda men, Jim Moody and Michael Rutter.
Shoulder's okay. It was giving us more trouble in the dry. I was really struggling up through the back chicane just to try to change direction. But no, it's helped the fact that it has been wet, you know. But it's not the best of conditions for the spectators. But hopefully they've enjoyed the racing, you know. It's been good.
Can you make it a hat trick? The last man to do that was Ron Haslam.
Well, I'd like to. The way I've been going in the wet, I mean, I didn't go as quick as I did in the first race there, but I just kept a steady pace. But hopefully I can do it again, yeah. We'll see what happens.
Time now for the second 1-2-5 race, and once again Phelim Owens, winner of the first leg, in pole position and hoping to complete the double.
10 laps ahead of the second 125cc race. The grid positions, of course, exactly the same as for the first, but young Darren Gawley, riding number 2, had a cracking start from the outside of the front row. He leads first race winner Phelim Owens as they go into the left-hander at Brock's Bend. But 10 laps, and this 1-2-5 action always very close. Owens, Mick Lofthouse is there as well, as indeed is number 8, Stephen Thompson. Oh, Owens, almost, yes he is, just whizzing past Darren Gawley to take the lead. Stephen Thompson through, Mick Lofthouse there, Jim Falls is back in business. Falls by name, Falls by nature it was in the first race, but he's back in business and going well. He's down there in 7th, riding number 6, but the race leader, number 1, Phelim Owens, and what a great season in the closing stages of the 1995 year this 30-year-old from Dungannon has had. There's Mick Lofthouse. Lofthouse was 3rd in the first encounter, and number 22, Adrian Coates, who was runner-up in the first race, is now further down the order. Oh, that's Jim Falls again. What a miserable day for Jim Falls. Appleyard tiptoeing his way through the debris. Jim Falls is off that new Honda, the Patsy O'Kane Honda, bought and supplied for Robert Dunlop to get on for the 1995 season, and Jim Falls has thrown it away twice. So he is very, very upset and not a little frustrated. He can't understand why the marshals and the medical service want to get him off the circuit. And look at, oh dear me, he almost stayed on it, but the back end broke away, threw him in the air. He's very lucky not to be hit by the rest of the riders. The battle now for 4th and 5th. Adrian Coates, number 22, has moved through ahead of the early race leader Darren Gawley, who qualified on the front row. Ahead of them is number 7, Owen McNally, and McNally was running very, very well in the first race as well. There's McNally, number 7. Adrian Coates is right with him as well. Adrian Coates on the Eric Lyons Honda, the president or chairman of the Hillsborough Motorcycle Club, who organise this event, has supplied the machine which this young man is riding. And in the 250s, Adrian Coates rides for Ron Haslam in Team Great Britain. But he has his eyes firmly now on third place and is going to go for it. Third place at the moment, the number 7 Honda of Owen McNally. Yamaha, I beg your pardon, of Owen. Oh, look over the shoulder, he knows Coates is there, and Coates is right in his slipstream. Out of that slipstream, Honda versus Yamaha. McNally loses out on the elbow bashing duel. Oh dear me, he's going to do it on the brakes. Has he gone in too hot? Oh, fantastic, sensational stuff from Owen McNally. Very, very brave that was, I can tell you. McNally still there, a determined attack again by Adrian Coates. This time he makes it stick, goes in on the brakes, and he's there. But has he gone in too hot? No, exiting that hairpin, he's away. Oh, great. So now sprinting up towards the right flick and the left flick as they go through Deegan's, McNally and 22 Coates. This is the battle for third. There's another left and another right, and he can do precious little but just shadow the third place man at this point. Oh, brilliant stuff. McNally and Coates all on their own this battle. The race leader, I remind you, still Phelim Owens. Lofthouse, number 9 on the Yamaha, still in second. Oh, they are so close. This is incredible stuff. Nothing to separate this two. This is where the action is. Coates, McNally, number 7, nip and tuck. No quarter arse, none given. This is where he made it stick last time, and McNally is brave. Round the outside he goes. Very, very difficult. They have to get the power on extremely carefully here. I think he's now broken the toe. It might just be what Adrian Coates needs now, and he has to set about the man ahead of him. Into the last left-hander exiting Ringawadi, and then the big right-hander at Dunsfort onto the start-finish straight for Phelim Owens. The checkered flag is in sight. Tail-enders just ahead of him, but they are out of harm's way. Phelim Owens takes the win, and what a display of riding that was. Home in second place, confirmed Mick Lofthouse on the Yamaha, and a long way back, number 22, Adrian Coates, collects third to add to the second he had first time round. Second senior race that lines up with both Matt Llewellyn and local man Alan Irwin missing from the front row due to machinery damage. Hislop going for 3 in a row, but the 2 Honda riders got the jump on him at the start. Jim Moody leads the race from Michael Rutter. Hislop, though, through into second place as I speak, having to tiptoe very carefully because the rain has still been falling all afternoon here at Bishop's Court. Through on the inside again into second place. Oh, and a fall. Oh, 2 bikes go down. Both riders, though, wondering quite what that was all about, but riders up on their feet, machines a bit damaged, being helped away from the right-hander. Jim Moody, number 21, leads. Michael Rutter, number 16, acknowledged by the rest of the riders as being very good in the wet, and he's putting that to good effect here. Hislop, though, being very brave, going round the outside of Michael Rutter as they go through the swinging complex of bends up through fairways, coming towards the right-hander now of Ringawadi, and Hislop stalking Jim Moody, last year's Sunflower winner. Moody had a very, very good ride in the first senior race and dropped, in actual fact, at the final flash, dropped down to 5th place. But Moody certainly started very strongly. Hislop it was, though, who got the win from Moody's teammate, Michael Rutter. So, senior race winner, Sunflower race winner, and now this, the second senior race. Is it going to go to the Ducati-mounted Steve Hislop? If he does pull off the treble here today, it'll be the first time in 6 years since that was done. 1989 was the last time, and it was, in fact, Ron Haslam who performed the treble here, but it wasn't here, it was at Kyrgyzstan. But at the Sunflower meeting, Ron Haslam in 1989 took 3 in a row. The customary style of Hislop, though, is to go steadily through the early stages of the race and then gradually increase the momentum, build up the speed, push the limits of tyre adhesion just a little bit more on the Ducati until he's in front, and from then on there will be no looking back. At Dunsfort then, coming back onto the start-finish straight, the Team Castrol Honda of Jim Moody pitted up against number 1 Steve Hislop, the newly crowned British champion. Alongside the pit wall, they are doing something in the region of 155 miles an hour. In dry practice, would you believe, the electronic logging data on Moody's Honda recorded 164 past the pit wall, and that is unbelievably quick. And if you were standing by that pit wall, you would understand and know just how quick that is. It takes the air away as the bike bullets through past the pit wall just a metre away. Moody then on the Honda going well. He knows though, because the pit board is out telling him that he has something like 0.2 of a second only over Steve Hislop, fellow Scot. Number 21, Jim Moody, who earned a fantastic reputation on the 600cc class and indeed the 400cc Supersports class, winning Isle of Man TTs in both those categories. Now, Michael Rutter, number 16, has closed up in 3rd place, so this is very much a carbon copy of the earlier race duel in the early stages of the race, when Rutter used his wet weather experience to good effect and really threatened the supremacy of the Hislop ridden Ducati. Hislop then now settling a little bit for second, but ahead of Jim Moody, the race leader, and we are looking at the 3rd place man now is a tail ender. Round the tail ender safely goes Hislop. Round the tail ender safely, or inside of him, goes Michael Rutter. Well, I wonder, can Michael Rutter do anything about this? Hislop and Moody having a really good scrap here, and Jim Moody knows full well what he has to do, and that's keep Hislop at bay, and I'm not so sure that he's going to be able to do that. Hislop certainly can't afford to trail Jim Moody much longer, because he knows that Michael Rutter now in 3rd has far from given up the ghost. Oh, a bit of a twitch then from Rutter coming out of there, so it really is a cat and mouse game they're playing, a question of putting the power on as softly and as progressively as possible. This is where Hislop will score, coming onto the straight. Ducati plays Honda, neck and neck they go, and the Ducati has got the advantage. So as they come down to Brock's Bend on lap 6, Hislop leads. 3 in a row then, very much on the cards now for Steve Hislop. He spoke cautiously to Jackie Fullerton at the start of the race, and he said the treble would be nice, but in these conditions anything can happen, and the race is not won until the checkered flag has been passed, and even a rider of Hislop's caliber can make mistakes, and you saw just a tiny twitch there from the rear end of the Devi Mead Ducati, and more importantly, Jim Moody will have seen the rear end of the Ducati move, so he will know that Hislop is not infallible. It's not over, as they say, until the large lady sings, and we still have a lap and a half to do as Hislop and Rutter battle out this duel. And Rutter's closing again, he's not given up. Whether he's got what it takes to get past Hislop, this could be his chance if this tail ender causes a problem, and I don't think he will, because they are now coming to the point of the circuit. Oh dear me, the tail ender leaning on Steve Hislop, unbelievable. I'm amazed that he couldn't hear the Ducati coming. They make enough noise, and the tail ender almost cramped Steve Hislop's style with 1 lap to do. Rutter will have seen that, Unbelievably close action, and it just illustrates how easy it would be to throw everything away with 1 lap to go. The treble is at stake here. Hislop knows he's getting a bit twitchy. I think Mike Rutter has Steve Hislop rattled just a little bit. Mike Rutter is going to try and squeeze everything out of this last lap. You can bet your bottom dollar he is. And he's gone inside Hislop and taken the lead. And they touched. There was contact there. Michael Rutter went a little bit wide. He was elbow to elbow with Steve Hislop. Incredible performance from the Honda. Oh, dear me. Hislop has gone back through. Can you believe these two? Wet track, Bishop's Court, 3 in a row at stake. The treble is on for Steve Hislop. But Michael Rutter really came at him on the last lap. And that was so close to bringing them both off in the grass. An immense amount of trust from them both. Rutter led briefly. Hislop's going to get the checkered flag. The treble is Steve Hislop's. But what a brave attempt from Michael Rutter. Hey, man, that was some race. Hislop says it. Hand to the crowd. Steve Hislop, 3 in a row. Bishop's Court, 1995.
There was just no catching Hislop, and the treble was in the bag, but only after Michael Rutter had given him plenty to think about on that last lap.
I had a comfortable enough lead, and I came up on the tail end of it here, and I knew Michael would be right there, so I actually touched the guy. I was riding around the curve, because Michael was right on me, and I was getting slower and slower at the hairpin because I was like losing the front end, and because he out-dragged us up to the chicane, and I had to really make a big dive at the next bit, so brilliant, a great last lap.
And the hat-trick is yours?
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, I think probably that's the first time I've ever done that in my career, apart from the TT, that is, and that's just brilliant.
So there we are. The weather hasn't been very good, but the racing most certainly has. Well done to local lads, Phelim Owens and Alan Patterson, on their double successes. But all of these Superbike headlines go to the hat-trick man, Steve Hislop on the Ducati. He's enjoyed the racing. I hope you have. From all of us here at Bishop's Court, bye-bye.